So to start off this video, I'm going to ask you a really simple question. How do you make 7 even? No, not add 1, not add 5, not subtract 3. How do you make 7 itself even? Delete the S. Ha ha ha. And if you think that's corny, and if you think I'm sitting around twiddling my thumbs right now, I will tell you that you are incorrect. This is the third time I have done this video, so let's hope that it works out okay. I'm having major volume issues, so hopefully this one will work, and it will be up on Edmodo, and you will be well on your way. We're going to do some equation solving review, and I will tell you that equation solving, it is review, but equation solving gets increasingly more complex as you progress through your mathematical years. So this is going to be a little harder. It won't be undoable, but it is going to be kicked up as you would expect when you move from pre-algebra into algebra. Two things you need to keep in mind, and this is in your notes when you're solving equations. Your primary objective, though it may not be your first objective, is to get the variable alone. That is where you ultimately want to be. X equals, K equals, Q equals, etc. The second thing you need to keep in mind is to always keep the balance. You must do to one side what you do to the other side. If you happen to have variables on both sides, group them together on one side first. And what you'll need to do, it might not be the first step, however. In this case, my first step is going to be distributing. So why don't you go ahead and solve this equation? I would distribute first, and then I would move the variables. So go ahead and pause, solve the equation. And when you come back, I got x equals negative 33 over 8. Not necessarily the nicest answer, but not the worst thing you'll see. We also talked last year about possible solutions. And what this means is what can happen when you solve an equation. Well, you can get a valid solution, which is basically x equals 25 or x equals negative 4/3, something like that. You can get the identity, which gives you an infinite number of solutions, or you can get no solution. So go ahead and solve these three equations, and we will talk about their solutions. Pause the video here to do that. All right, so now that you're back, let's look at the answer. The first one, you get 6x plus 12 equals 6x plus 12. Well, that is always true. I could plug in anything for x and I would get a valid answer. The second problem, you should get x equals 8. That gives me one solution. There's nothing else that will work there but x equals 8. And the final one, you should get, oops, I'm going the wrong direction there. Sorry about that. You get 8x minus 7 equals 8x minus 5. That will never be true. No, I don't even have a pen in my hand and that happened. Let's pick up a pen and put it down and see if this moves. There we go. So that's no solution. Okay, little technical difficulty. Now, in general, we prefer to solve problems that are easy or hard. I know really easy things sometimes, they're actually harder, and so that hard might be easier. But really, if you go back to bare bones, I'm just trying to confuse you, so don't worry about me. You prefer to solve problems that are easy. Okay, so if I come up with an equation that has fractions in it, to make this problem easier, I need to clear the fractions. In order to clear the fractions, I can multiply through by something as long as I multiply everything through by that something to clear out the fractions and make them go away. So in order to make them go away, I would probably want to multiply through by the LCD. Now I could multiply through this by 24, but that's going to be really messy. And if I multiply through by 3, I'm not getting rid of the 6. So I would multiply through by 6, giving me 2x plus 360 equals 5x. 360 equals 3x. Now I chose to keep my coefficient positive, but you may not have. And 120 equals x, giving me finally x equals 120. You may think those last two statements are the same. In fact, we will be working with the symmetric property of equality in order to justify those last two steps in your next lesson. Decimals are a very similar situation. So in order to clear the decimals, I want to multiply through by the highest place value. Now in this case, they all have the same place value, but if for instance this had been 923, I would have wanted to multiply through by 1,000 to get rid of that 923. 0.923. In this case, I can just multiply through by 10. So if I multiply through by 10, I get 8x minus 23 equals 9, 8x equals 32, and x equals 4. Very easy and less room for error than if we try to deal with dividing decimals. So what I would like you to do is to work on the basic equation solving packet odds. Okay, and we'll go over some of the problems tomorrow. Go over some of the problems tomorrow. I would also like you to come up with one hot question. What is a hot question? If you remember, it's a higher order ORDER, erase that, and thinking question, higher order thinking question. So you could ask a question about something that I did that you didn't understand. You can ask a question about a what if you had this or that, or you could try and come up with a problem that might be interesting for your table mates to solve tomorrow. Just don't make it like something they need 3 days to solve. Okay? Have fun, and I will see you tomorrow.